Hello and welcome to another episode of News You Can Use, a show which comes to you week after week with important news, views and issues which affect your busy lives here in the UAE. I'm Anurag Malhotra and you're listening to me exclusively on 106.2 Big FM. Today is the third episode of the second season of this unique show and your response has been really tremendous. Thank you very much for the same and keep writing to us. आज आगे इस शो में मैं आपको दुबई में हाल ही में हुई वर्ल्ड गवर्नमेंट समिट से जुड़ी कुछ खबरें दूंगा और साथ ही में आरटीए, कम्युनिटी, हेल्थ, टेक्नोलॉजी और हमारे साउथ एशियन एक्सपैट्स से रिलेटेड कुछ खबरें भी शेयर करूंगा. Also, I'll have a very special lady guest on my show today whose sole mission is to empower our women listeners on financial independence. Who is this special lady? To know this and more, keep it locked to 106.2 Big FM. I'll be back after a short break with the first segment of our show, Your Life Made Easy. You're listening to News You Can Use Season 2. I'm Anurag Malhotra and now it's time to make your life easy.
Your Life Made Easy.
इससे पहले कि मैं आपके साथ न्यूज़ और इन्फॉर्मेशन शेयर करूं, I want to sound our listeners that while we do our due diligence in collating the news and information from established and authentic sources, however, we strongly recommend that before you act on the information provided here, please do verify the same from their respective official sources. Let's begin with the World Government Summit related news which just finished in Dubai recently. The World Government Summit 2019 at Madinah Jumeirah, Dubai kicked off on February 9, 2019 with over 4,000 high-profile officials from 140 countries, heads of state, global figures attending. The topics that were covered during the sessions this year were post-conflict governance, the future of global trade, happiness and well-being, the interplay of politics and society, and the future of learning. Chairman of the Board of Executive Directors of RTA spoke at the World Government Summit, laying out its achievements so far and what the country's plans are, especially for the Expo 2020. Driverless cars, air taxis and unibikes is what the future of UAE's transport looks like. The President of UAE, His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, has directed the launch of a new government body that aims to ensure the advancement of society in Abu Dhabi by fostering relations between community organizations and promoting volunteerism between public and private sectors is high on the list of the new body's priorities. The body, known as MAAN, has been set up to promote a sense of civic duty through collaboration between the public and private sectors and various community groups. Officers of the Abu Dhabi Police have warned motorists that anyone caught behind the wheel using a gaming app would be fined 800 dirhams and given 4 points on their license. This should be applicable across the UAE unanimously for everyone's safety. Traffic laws in the capital ban drivers from texting, taking photos, eating, or even applying makeup. Staying with the news on transportation, Dubai motorists can get up to 100% off on accumulated fines in the Year of Tolerance. The new initiative is a part of the Year of Tolerance and will help drivers get discounts on their traffic fines while encouraging them to drive more responsibly in the future. If you don't commit a traffic offense from February 6th for 3 months, you will get a 25% discount on previous accumulated traffic fines. From February 6th for 6 months, you will get a 50% discount, and from February 6th for 9 months, you will get a 75% discount. And from February 6th for 12 months, you will get a 100% discount on previous accumulated traffic fines. The UAE government is always on a lookout to make life easy for its residents. Now you can renew your Emirates ID and visa at the same time by going online from the comfort of your home, saving you precious time and money. According to a senior General Directorate of Residency and Foreigners Affairs official, those who want to renew the Emirates ID and residence visa can fill up the application form online at the same time without the need to visit typing centers. All the residents have to do is visit the GDRFA app, which allows you to apply for visit visas and residence visas from inside and outside the country, as well as track progress of applications. Applications received via the app will be renewed within 1 to 3 days compared to the normal 2-week waiting time earlier. The Global Council for the 5th UN Sustainable Development Goal (SDG) 2030, chaired by Mona Ghanem Al-Meri, Vice President of the UAE Gender Balance Council, held a meeting as a part of the World Government Summit 2019. She stressed that the directive issued by President to increase Emirati women's representation in the Federal National Council (FNC) to 50% has already delivered a positive impact on women's role in Parliament and has enhanced their key involvement as decision makers on a national level. She emphasized the importance of achieving gender equality and empower all women and girls, which aims to ensure women's full and effective participation at all levels of decision-making in political, economic, and public spheres. Speaking of gender equality, our guest today in the interview segment will also be speaking about women empowerment through financial planning and independence. It's time now for us to slip into a short break, and when I return, I will be in conversation with our special lady guest, SANDI Saxena, in our next segment, Views You May Use. Welcome back to News You Can Use. I'm Anurag Malhotra, and you're listening to me exclusively on 106.2 Big FM. And now it's time for our interview segment, Views You May Use.
Views you may use.
It is said that if you economically empower a woman, she represents an enormous opportunity that can actually be transformative not only for her family and for her community, but at the aggregate level for the economy. The UAE has made significant progress in its mission to empower women in the workforce across various sectors. And the nation's women can today be classified as role models for the rest of the world. Well, my special guest today is one such role model. She's a multifaceted and an empowered lady, Miss SANDI Saxena, a long-time resident of the Gulf region who devotes her time and energies focused in the field of financial empowerment of women. SANDI is a sought-after speaker at conferences, conventions, and corporate events, and is a regular contributor to the electronic and print media. She heads the Family Matters division at Echelon Advisors and Management Consultants, which is her family firm. A recipient of many awards for her contribution in this field, with the latest being the Best Woman Entrepreneur Lifetime Achievement Award 2019, Berkeley, Middle East. A very, very warm welcome to you, SANDI.
Thank you very much. That was a wonderful introduction.
My pleasure. So let's get to business straight away, SANDI, and let me begin by asking you, at what stage in life did you get empowered, and how do you conduct your life to sustain your empowerment?
Okay, so it's a very important year in my life, and that's 1996. That was the year I went from being Snow White in slumber, driven in luxury, to a halt, an accident so big that nothing could be repaired. And from that wonderful life, I just turned into Cinderella.
Well, what a transformation, SANDI.
Oh yes, and it was so swift that it took me some time to get my breath and realize what had really happened.
So what actually did happen, and how did the empowerment come to you?
All right, so when I faced this financial disaster in my life, obviously it affected everybody around me. And that was the time that I made a decision. I had to get up and stand up and start breathing again. And what was I going to do? But when you're in a situation of panic, when you're in a situation of desperation, you can't think clearly. And that was one of the biggest problems that I had. How was I going to think clear enough to focus on what I needed to do? Because this is something that I had to do by myself. And so it took some time, but again, some important things that I had to realize at that time is my family. What could I do to make things better? How can you depend on somebody else? You had to take responsibility for you. I had a family that I had to support, emotionally, and now I had to make a decision to support them financially. So it was a big thing for me because I had never worked in my life, and so I could not even write a CV. And the other thing is, I believe in the power of prayer. And my prayer was very specific because I've learned this over the years. If you want something from the universe, you need to be very specific.
I see.
My prayer was this: open one door for me. That's it. Not what kind of a door, nothing like that. Just open one door for me and I will do the rest.
So the gist which I got from what you said is that there was a financial trigger which turned your life around and for the better. So in your opinion, why do women need to be financially savvy?
Good question, and this is something that I love to talk about, so you'll have to really stop me if I go on and on. But there are many reasons why women don't plan financially. Number one is finances is too complicated for me to understand. Okay. The second one is I don't have time.
Right.
Third is I don't have enough money. Then you have the next one, which is if I become too pushy or if I ask for something, then I will antagonize other people.
Right.
Right? Then comes that thing that if I take a risk, I may lose everything. So I'm not going to do anything about it. Right? So these are various ways that women sort of find excuses for taking responsibility and making a commitment. So you can learn about finance, and this thing about finance is too complicated for me to understand stems from the fact that some women, I won't say all, there are some women who find math, for example, challenging. Right? And so when you talk about money and you talk about interest rates and all kinds of different things, or people they've been listening to stuff on the TV or whatever, it's like, oh my God, this is too complicated. Mujhse nahi hoga. It's not going to happen.
Right.
So actually, most women are quite savvy when it comes to money. Are we good at doing calculations? The answer is yes. So that excuse is absolutely unfounded.
Right.
And the other one is I don't have time. Well, you make the time. There are lots of ways that you can really make time for yourself. And I don't have the money. That's a really big one that I get all the time. And that again is pure excuse.
Right. It's time for us to take a short break, and on the other side, I'll be back with Sandy in the studio with me, and I'll be asking her some more questions, which is going to be very useful and informative for you.
Views you may use.
Welcome back, and you're listening to Views You May Use. I'm in conversation with Sandy Saxena. Sandy, in today's fast-paced, stress-ridden world, critical illness has become commonplace. Today we talk about ailments and diseases like cancer and so many others, which used to be 1 in a million at one time. And today it seems every third, fourth household unfortunately has somebody who's suffering from a critical illness. So how does one take care of this critical illness? Can you tell our listeners briefly that how can women specifically cope better with this, and are women more susceptible to critical illnesses?
I would say that if we look at all the actuarial tables and all that are required and used by the insurance companies when it comes to life insurance, medical insurance, etc., men are susceptible to dying sooner. So life insurance for men is more expensive than for a female of that age.
Apples to apples.
Yes.
Same age.
Yes. So if we look at the critical illness and medical insurance, is just the opposite.
I see.
Yes. So women are more susceptible to falling ill, but they live longer. So critical illness and medical insurance are both more expensive for women.
Compared to men?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But also a very essential part of your financial well-being. You need to have that. Now, when we look at critical illnesses, wellness-wise, women need to have that medical checkup. When we look at the insurance part, I would say that we have what you mentioned, critical illness insurance. This is the kind of insurance which is what we call a living benefit. It is available to you when you're still alive,
True.
right?
True.
And it is not to be confused with medical insurance. Medical insurance will reimburse you for any bill which is incurred at a hospital or a clinic or whatever.
Right.
Right? And medical insurance is renewed every year. For critical illness insurance, which is for men and women. So if you look at it, it is actually a lump sum of money which is given to you on the diagnosis of a critical illness.
I see.
All right. So critical illness is already listed in the terms and conditions, and you have to fulfill those. We are not interested, are you being treated? What kind of treatment are you getting? Because we are not reimbursing you for bills. We are giving you a lump sum of money which has been predetermined when you took the policy in cash for you.
So are you, in other words, very strongly recommending and advising, especially women, to take critical illness cover as soon as possible?
100%.
How would you advise women to manage personal and family expectations? It's a tightrope women walk all the time throughout their life.
For me, there has to be a lot of open communication. The lines of communication between a husband and a wife need to be open. And there should be an atmosphere where I can ask a question and I should get an answer. And there shouldn't be the kind of feeling that, the other person is being questioned on their capability or how trustworthy they are. There's nothing like that. So I think it's very important for women especially to be able to handle those situations in a manner where the spouse feels that, yes, I'm being valued for what I do. And here's my wife, my life partner, who is making an effort to assist me, so that she's taking away a lot of the nitty-gritty stuff where I would have to spend time. She's taking over all that and giving me more time to devote to the job or my business by taking over all this. So that's number one. Number two, I would recommend, if ladies are not already doing this, is take care of the bills. So you have the Etisalat bill or Do bill, you have your Diva bill, or if you're in Sharjah, you have your Seva bill,
right, the
whatever it is, right?
The utility bills,
yes,
yeah.
And then you have some other small insurances like the car insurance, the medical insurance, etc., etc. So ladies can actually go and pay these bills, because most of us go to a shopping mall at least twice or thrice a week, even just to do grocery shopping. Right? What's not to pass by the Etisalat machine and pay the bill? The reason for doing that is you will know exactly how much money you're actually spending on phone calls.
Right.
And is the bill really very high? Can you look at a package that could be more economical, instead of just going whatever was recommended. Okay, so that is a way of knowing how much money is being spent.
Right.
That's one thing. The other thing is to take over all the record keeping. So whether it's property papers, whether it's share certificates, whether it's your locker certificate or whatever what you have, even your passport details.
Right.
When your insurances are finishing, when you need to get your passports renewed, so many different small things. If the ladies take over all these things, then she is also aware, and if her husband is not around, she knows what to do.
Ladies, I hope you're listening to what Sandy is telling you, and this is really, really very important. Not only are you going to be assisting your spouses, but also empowering yourself to know much more about a subject which you probably have always been leaving it to your husbands. So get your act together. I think that's a very, very good advice from you, Sandy.
Yes, knowledge is power.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power. Sandy, thank you very much for sharing such important and useful information for our women listeners. And I'm sure our women listeners will benefit immensely from all what you have said today. And I also hope it'll empower our male listeners to further value the contribution of the women in their lives. So we can say, behind every successful man, there is an empowered woman. It was a pleasure having you on my show, and thank you so much.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you very much, Anurag.
It's now time for a short break, and on my return, I'll share with you important news and information related to our South Asian expats in the Expat Roundup. So please keep it locked to 106.2 Big FM.
Expat Roundup.
Let's start with some good news for Indian expats who have loans or are planning to take loans in India. The Reserve Bank of India cut its repo rate by 25 basis points, the first since August 2017, thus reducing borrowing costs and making EMIs cheaper for all loans availed on a floating interest rate in India. The revised repo rate, that is, the interest rate at which the RBI lends money to banks, now stands at 6.25 from the previous 6.50. For NRIs in general, the rate cut will not have any significant impact, except for those who hold floating mortgage rates in India. Most other loans, including auto and personal borrowings, are normally given at fixed rates. With the RBI lowering the repo rate, banks will follow suit and reduce their marginal costs of funds-based lending rates, MCLR, or the minimum interest rate that a bank will charge on the loan. Indian expatriates in Al Ain celebrated India Festival during the last weekend, a flagship annual event of Indian Social Centre ISC Al Ain. The 3-day festival held from February 7th to 9th offered a wide variety of art, entertainment and cultural programs. Sheikh Saeed bin Tahnoon bin Mohammed Al Nahyan inaugurated the event on Thursday in the presence of Navdeep Singh Suri, the Indian ambassador to the UAE. The festival showcased India's rich cultural diversity along with Emirati culture and heritage. Around 150 artists from India and UAE performed various art forms and enthralled the audience. Hindi is to become the third official language used in the Abu Dhabi court system as a part of a move designed to improve access to justice. The change would help attract foreign investment and enhance Abu Dhabi's reputation as a destination for skilled labor. It is a part of a plan to reinforce the effectiveness and sustainability of judicial processes and ensure universal access to services. Foreign nationals will be able to lodge claims and raise grievances in labor cases in the language which is widely spoken in India and by many expat workers in the UAE. And last, a news of interest for the Pakistani listeners. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan arrived in Dubai on 10th February to speak at the World Government Summit and also to work on a bailout plan for his country at the event. Imran met with Christine Lagarde, Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, on the sideline of the summit to negotiate the issues which have held up bailout package for his cash-stripped country. Pakistan is seeking its 13th bailout since the late 1980s to deal with a current account deficit that threatens to trigger a balance of payments crisis, but talks have been delayed by difficulties in reconciling IMF reform demands with Islamabad's fears that the push is too drastic and could hurt economic growth. It's now time to take a short break, and when I return, it will be our segment Between Us, जिसमें मैं आपसे गुफ्तगू करूंगा. So don't go anywhere and keep enjoying 106.2 Big FM. And now it's time for the last segment of this show, Between Us. I'm Anurag Malhotra and you're listening to News You Can Use on 106.2 Big FM.
Between Us.
Dear listeners, please keep your feed forward coming in, sharing your suggestions, comments and queries on Big FM social media handles. Keep us updated with your expectations so that we can make this show more useful for you. You can send us your communication on our WhatsApp number 054 309 1062. I repeat, 054 309 1062. Don't forget to tune in on every Thursday at 12:30 to 1:30 in the afternoon. And if you missed the show on Thursday, you can catch the repeat on Saturday at the same time, exclusively on 106.2 Big FM. And for those of you who are not able to listen to the show in your vehicle, you may not be on the road, you may be in your office or at home, you can simply download the Big FM app and listen to News You Can Use in the comfort of your home or in your office. It's now time for me to take your leave. However, I'll be back same day, same time next week with more news and more views you can use. This is Anurag Malhotra signing off with this positive quote of the day. The 6 best doctors in the world: sunlight, rest, exercise, diet, self-confidence, and of course, friends. Maintain these in all stages of your life and enjoy a healthy life. Have a great weekend. Keep smiling, keep laughing, and don't worry. Be happy.